There are a lot of places you can get to in a kayak where you drove to the put-in and you drove to the takeout and you have a shuttle and you have to walk 30 feet at the end to your car. Then there are places like this.
It's been called the Mount Everest of Oregon kayaking. You know, rightfully so. It's locked down in a deep canyon. It's really hard to access. And, you know, you have to be prepared when you come into a place like this.
Yeah, it's time now. Today we're going to hike up about 5 miles and drop into Salmon River Canyon. We have to get our boats up there, we have to drop in, we have to portage a bunch. That's part of what makes it enjoyable, frankly. You can't run this river without putting in work. You got to pay to play.
Fortunately for these avid hikers, the only way to return to civilization is down the river.
The expedition style of the run is something that's fun for me. You're pushing yourself close to exhaustion. It's a very rigorous hike, and you got to be in good shape just to do it. It's the inaccessibility of the canyon itself. You know, part of its beauty is that people can't get in there.
I woke up this morning and I hit snooze a couple times, but I got up because I'm excited, but I found myself kind of dragging a little this morning. I'm actually a little nervous.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
Sweet. Something tells me it's almost time to go kayaking.
The put-in for this river is this drop called Split Falls. It's not a particularly technical drop or anything, but it is a 20-footer. When you're coming into Split Falls, you haven't warmed up at all. You've just been hiking, you kind of take 5 strokes and you're going off this waterfall. It's fun to run a kayak off a waterfall, is what it comes down to.
That's like a hill giant giving you a giant, wet, sloppy, cold kiss.
Wow.
Unless you're a kayaker, you will never see the innards of that canyon. Be able to do something like that, that's that amazing, that scenic, that fun. You realize that it's a handful of people that can do this. I want to be included in that group.
A lot of the history of kayaking around here, the boat designs and the skills of the paddlers didn't really catch up until the early 2000s. That's when stuff like this started being run, steeper stuff, bigger waterfalls. I think it took the kayaking world to catch up to the river, and things like this fit into kayaking now.
Once we ran Little Niagara, which is kind of one of the funnest drops in the run, everyone was just super happy. Everyone was feeling super stoked at the bottom, and then you get to vanishing. There's more water though. I mean, last year I could almost go right off the tip.
Yeah.
You just hit the tip and it was no problem. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
Let's just say that I've never run that falls, ever. It's a very tricky falls. It's a tricky takeoff. It's a tricky landing.
What do you think?
The normal process for people that are not running the drop is what we call throw and go, where you would throw your boat off the cliff, then you would jump in after it. So given those circumstances, I've always chosen to portage it. So me and Willie were downstream. Realizing that Matt was gonna run it, we'd set up safety.
It's gonna reject you into that right wall, but it's okay.
And we got the signal that he's gonna go.
Ryan decided he was gonna do the throw and go, and Keel and I decided we were gonna run it. I went first, just caught a little too much of the rock going off.
Where is he?
I was fighting for a good amount of time. I got one breath in there. I kind of got pushed around and got pushed underwater, went pretty deep, and I felt my boat slamming into me underwater.
I pretty much knew he was going to swim when he didn't paddle out after about the first 5 seconds. So at that point, what's going through my mind is to be ready for bodies.
Where is he?
You're underwater, it's dark on one side and it's light on the other side, and you know that you want to go towards the light.
At the rope.
And that rope was there, and I had this moment where I was just so thankful for my good friends and their wherewithal to get that rope down to me.
Woo! And he is out and free. I'm just stabilizing him. I'm not gonna move.
When you run hard stuff and you push the limit, sometimes the limits push back.
I love you, buddy, but two sketchiest moments I've ever had on a river have been with you.
This was the first bad swim I ever had, and I've always felt that my time would probably come, and yesterday was my time.
By the time you're paddling the Salmon River Gorge, everybody's a lifelong expert paddler. There's no doctorates in kayaking, but everybody here has paddled thousands and thousands of days. And so I don't think that we're out here to, at least I'm not personally out here for the thrill of it. It is thrilling, but it's not really why you're there. You're there to just to experience it and be there with a few good friends.
Oh, dude.
After vanishing, you get to Frustration Falls, which has a lot going on. The first drop is the drop that was once referred to as God's gift to kayaking.
And there's a lot of emotion involved in just making the decision to run it.
Where's your paddle? Yeah, buddy! Yeah!
I think one of the coolest feelings is as you approach the lip, it's very slow. The water is backed up by the cliff that creates the pour over for the falls. And as you're approaching the lip, slow, 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 and all of a sudden it opens up. For the split second or two you're in the air, it's just weightlessness and very euphoric.
Once you feel comfortable with those things, it's really fun to fly.
You know, you get to the base, you can barely hear, you have the roar of this falls coming in, you have water spraying everywhere. You look downstream, you're seeing another 25-footer horizon line, you look past that, you're looking down over 80-foot horizon line. So this stair-stepping progression of the way the river has just eroded its way down through there, it's pretty undescribable.
Boy, they're always so much bigger when you're there. Yeah, anybody that says they're not scared is lying.
Final Falls is very rarely run. It's a very large waterfall. It stands about 80 feet. At that point, you've got two options. If you don't want to run it, you either jump off the cliff or you can set a rope and rappel around it. There's no other option to walk around it and get back to water level.
So when you're standing at the lip of Final, it's a big drop, it's about 80 feet.
What do you think? Jump or rappel?
If you're not scared of heights, and if you're willing to take that risk, it's probably one of the cooler things you'll do in your life. Not only are you jumping the cliff, but it's your exit out of the canyon.
Yeah!
For me, you know, I'm 35 now. I may not be coming back here that much. This may be one of the last few times that I really hike up in there and do that.
The last couple miles when you're going down, you almost go through withdrawal. You kind of realize that you were in this amazing place, and while you were in it, you just kind of wanted to get through it. You get to that bottom section and you almost feel like disappointed that you have to go back to civilization. Now you're just going to go back to your car, and it feels almost like something is getting taken away.
There's a lot of people in this world, so we're looking to get away. It's really easy to get away on a river canyon because it's just, it's a difficult place to travel and a difficult place to be. What's cool about the Salmon River Gorge in particular is it's a wilderness down there.